Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into the fascinating and honestly super high-stakes world of an official AI large language model bias assessment report. We all hear about AI bias constantly, right? But today, we're going to see exactly how developers literally open up the black box, diagnose the flaws, and actually fix the machine. So let's kick things off with this massive question. Is your AI playing fair? Because as these models make more and more decisions for us, everything from the news we read to the services we get, we need to know for sure that they're treating everyone equally. I mean, this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate anymore, it's a strict technical requirement. To get a handle on all this, we're going to break this explainer down into 5 quick steps. First, the AI fairness problem. Second, sample bias, missing voices. Third, measurement bias, flawed data. Fourth, algorithmic bias, skewed rules. And finally, number 5, strategies to fix the machine. All right, kicking off with step 1, the AI fairness problem. The report we're looking at bases its whole investigation on one undeniable fact. Unchecked AI bias doesn't just give you weird, quirky answers, it actually causes real, direct harm through unfair and inaccurate results. And that is exactly why regular health checks, like the deep dive audit we're exploring today, are absolutely essential. We have to keep testing the system to make sure it's playing fair. To make sure things are actually equitable, the auditors narrowed their scope to track how the model behaves across some pretty vital demographic lines. They're actively monitoring age, gender, ethnicity, and a few other key demographic factors, really just to see exactly who the AI serves well and, crucially, who it might be leaving behind. Moving right along to step 2, sample bias, missing voices. Okay, so this is a foundational issue. Sample bias happens when the training data just isn't representative of everyone. Think of it like trying to find the absolute best restaurant in your city, but you only ask people living on one single street. The math might be flawless, but your results definitely won't reflect the whole town. In the AI world, if the data doesn't mirror the diversity of the target population, the model is literally missing key voices right from day one. And the real-world fallout from this? It's pretty stark. When the training data is skewed, overrepresented groups get really high accuracy and super favorable predictions, while underrepresented groups suffer from noticeably lower accuracy. Basically, the machine ends up playing favorites based entirely on who fed it the most data. So, how do the developers actually fix this? Well, they have to get really proactive. They go out and actively source new additional data specifically meant to capture those missing groups. They have to constantly rebalance the training data set so everything is perfectly even before the AI even begins to learn. That brings us to step 3, measurement bias, flawed data. Now, if the first problem was about missing data, this one is all about bad data. Measurement bias happens during the collection process itself. Let's go back to our town survey analogy for a second. Even if you make sure to survey the entire town perfectly, if your clipboard is broken or your pen is dead, or hey, maybe the surveyor just hasn't had their morning coffee and writes down the wrong answers, you've got a huge problem. Flawed, inconsistent collection teaches the AI terrible habits, and it learns totally incorrect patterns. To clean up these messes, the report tells developers they've got to strictly standardize how they collect information. It's not just about hoarding data, it's about collecting it the exact same way every single time. They have to implement rigorous quality controls and run regular audits on their collection methods just to verify that the raw material feeding the machine is totally accurate. All right, on to step 4, algorithmic bias, skewed rules. Now this one is probably the most insidious of the bunch. Algorithmic bias means that even if you have perfect, balanced, flawlessly collected data, the internal math of the machine itself might just inherently favor one group over another. The training process actually bakes an inherent bias right into the core logic of the model. And the consequence here is massive. This internal skew directly leads to the unfair treatment of disadvantaged or underrepresented groups when the model makes its final predictions. The raw data was perfectly fine, but the machine's own processing completely warped the outcome. So to mitigate this, developers literally have to pop the hood and get their hands dirty. Step 1, they manually adjust the algorithms. Step 2, they hard-code strict fairness constraints. Basically rules yelling, hey, you cannot treat this demographic differently. And step 3, they apply advanced fairness-aware machine learning techniques to actively push down that bias while the model trains.
And that leads us to our final section, Step 5, Strategies to Fix the Machine.
This table from the report is basically a cheat sheet for mitigation. It shows us what needs fixing and how to do it. Notice how fixing algorithmic bias with fairness constraints is a high priority, but it only has a medium effectiveness rating? Yeah, that just goes to show how incredibly tough it is to untangle the math once the AI is actually up and running.
The big takeaway here is that this isn't some one-and-done quick fix. Because AI is always learning and changing, developers have to embrace what the report calls a continuous audit lifecycle. They have to run regular, ongoing audits to catch brand new biases that are definitely going to pop up over time. And they have to use a smart mix of hard, quantitative data and qualitative human nuance to keep the system genuinely fair.
I'm going to leave you with this thought to chew on as we wrap up this explainer. The report makes it super clear that auditing and fixing AI is a never-ending loop. So as these machines get way more complex and deeply woven into our daily lives, how are our own human standards of fairness going to have to adapt right alongside them? It is a wild challenge, and honestly, one we're all going to have to figure out together.